Fellas, something absolutely insane has just occurred in South Africa. The Democratic Alliance, the DA, a predominantly white political party, has introduced a bold bill aimed at repealing what they call a race-based law, basically a law tied to BEE. We're going to find out about this. What's happening, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Before we start, can I ask you to do this, please? Can we all do this? It costs you nothing. You feel appreciated. It's done. Great stuff. Okay, let's see what's up. South Africa, here on the map. Beautiful place, lovely people. One of the best places you can visit in Africa, no doubt, hands down. Culture-wise, yeah. Nyash-wise, you just make sure they awesome. I'm just kidding. Anyway, forget about Xhosa women. Yes, they're very smart, very clever, very ambitious as women. If you like them, yeah, you better be Nigerian because Nigerians are very ambitious as well. That's the reason why they get along well. Xhosa women and Nigerians, they do very good together. Anyway, let's get back on track. What's happening in South Africa is the DA, this political party, which is predominantly white, has introduced a bold new bill aimed at repealing another law that existed in South Africa. What law are they looking to repeal? The BEE. How do they have the power to repeal any law? Because the Democratic Alliance have an agreement with this political party, the ANC. The ANC is the political party of Nelson Mandela. Remember? Okay, you're asking yourself a question because this is South Africa. Black people and white people are not supposed to understand each other. At least history tells us that. How did the DA and the ANC become partners and now are fighting? We're going to find out about that. Now, let's get back to the law that's being fought against by the DA. It's called the BEE, Black Economic Empowerment. What is the purpose of this law? BEE was designed to redress economic inequalities created by apartheid. So in other words, BEE was a law created in 2000 by black people with the objective of fixing the negative things that had happened during apartheid. The goal of the BEE was to redress historical injustice. Under apartheid, black South Africans were excluded from owning businesses, accessing quality education, and participating in formal economy. So black people were not in the economy. It was informal. They could not participate in big business or get quality education. BEE aimed at correcting the imbalance by promoting economical inclusion. They had to bring black people together. Number 2, increase black ownership. That was the goal. So BEE was encouraging companies to transfer share and ownership stakes to black individual and group. I mean, South Africa went through the most, so they needed to find a way to balance. So BEE was there for that. Number 3, companies were rewarded for hiring black employees, investing training and education, promoting black professionals into management leadership roles. Remember, South Africa is a very little number of white people compared to black people. But in most managerial positions, you will find mostly white people. BEE was there to redress that, okay? With a lot of black people as a population, you needed to have representation of black people into management position. Makes sense, right? Okay, BEE was to make sure that every company that functions has at least one black person in managerial position. Number 4, BEE support black suppliers. Government and private sector procurement policies favored businesses that were owned by black people, partnered with black suppliers, invested in enterprise and development. So let me put it this way for you. Sometimes you had what people call tender. Tender is like they need somebody to build the road. Government needs somebody to build an hospital, but government doesn't have the time or the tools to build an hospital or a road. What they're going to do is they're going to bring in a tender, okay? They're going to advertise that possibility. The money is available. Who's capable of doing the job? But in that position with the BEE, they favored black businesses first. Why? To fix the imbalance that existed for a long time between blacks and whites in South Africa. We're going to explain that. Number 5, BEE was created for community investment, okay? It encouraged companies to contribute in social upliftment, such as building schools, supporting health initiatives, and funding local development projects. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why is BEE so BEEing? Because it feels like reversal racism a little bit, doesn't it? Well, we're going to find out why BEE was important. But before we find out for that, we need to go back in time. In 1913, It was called the Nazi Land Act, one of the most devastating laws in South African history. Basically, this law said that black people ownership of the land was limited to 7% of South Africa. Even though black people are the majority, they could only have 7% of the land, but in a designated area by white people. Number 2, black people could not buy land even from white owners. Number 3, black people could not rent land for agricultural purpose from white owners. Number 4, black people were forcibly removed out of their house, put into a very specific area where they would stay. The law was passed by who? By a white minority in government in 1913. Now, fast forward in 1948. Even though the racial discrimination existed and was prominent in Africa, it was prohibited in South Africa. 1947 was when it was made official, the Apartheid. So what was the Apartheid? Basically, the National Party dominated by Afrikaners won the general election. They introduced Apartheid as a policy of separate development for different racial groups. So basically, the laws were passed to restrict where people could live, work, go to school based on races. So white people could not mingle with black people. Interracial marriages and relationships were banned. Yeah, if you look at the white nyash, you're going to jail. You couldn't do that. Don't make babies with them. They'll put you to jail. Black people don't drink water from the same water fountain as white people. It's prohibited. You can't sleep in the same hotels. Not drive in the same cars. Basically, fully fledged racism. So at that specific moment, a major gap was created economically between white and black people. Matter of fact, most of the land, over 72% of the land in South Africa today, is still owned by white people. So black people are vocal, they can work now, they can live nicely now, but they don't have the land at all. Now, fast forward, 1994, things changed. Nelson Mandela leaves jail. He becomes first democratically elected president in South Africa after he was massively voted by black people. I mean, all black people came together to support Nelson Mandela through the ANC. Remember, the ANC is this political party that voted the BEE. So as Nelson Mandela came into power, people were filled with hope and expectation. Black people were happy because they thought freedom had arrived, financial freedom. They will forever be free and dominate their own countries. They thought all black people will have opportunities for jobs and some of them will be businessmen. But the reality was not exactly what they expected. Unfortunately, corruption came in. Like many African countries, when we do run countries, we make a lot of mistakes. And when we make a lot of mistakes, they can be devastating mistakes. Many of the poor black people remained poor. They did not change. But it looked like a specific group of black people was doing good. Fast forward, 2002, black people in power in South Africa introduced what they call the BEE, the Black Economic Empowerment, which sounds good, and the goal was to elevate black people to the level of white people financially, give them opportunities. However, as the BEE establishes itself as a policy that would allow a lot of money to be available for tenders, for constructions, for many programs, unfortunately, corruption also encrypted into that system. The DA, this political party right here, argues that BEE has become a tool for corruption and elite enrichment, failing to uplift the majority of black South Africans. So what they're saying is the BEE is benefiting a specific group of black people that is very limited, the elite. Meanwhile, the majority of people are still living in this condition. Look at this. No toilet, no water, no good condition. So some of the people are living nice, Yeah, they got you small people to vote for them, to establish them into power. They made you all these big promises saying, if we chase the white people, we'll treat you good. If we chase the white people off power, you'll be better. You'll have free hospitals, free food, nice jobs, and a car. But the reality is they're still living in very pitiable poverty. The DA also say that BEE creates inflated cost. So basically, when they present jobs opportunity like this to black people, what they do is, we need you to build bridge, for instance. Let's say the bridge actual price is $1,000. The black person will say the bridge costs $50,000. That's what he's going to do. They're going to give him $50,000, and he's actually not going to buy the bridge at $1,000. He's actually going to try spend only $600 on the bridge. That is the recurrent reality that many people see. And the DA, which is a white-dominated political party, is accusing. So as much as the idea initially was beautiful of trying to empower black people to move forward and equate financially the white people, unfortunately what has happened is a disease. Opportunities have presented themselves, but they're using it for their personal purposes. Now, fast forward 2024, many people are angry, upset with the ANC, which was the political party that freed the black community from apartheid. Remember that. All black people in 1990, look at all these people lining up to sign the ANC in power, expecting them to change their lives. Most of these people were disappointed because they felt left out by their fellow black people. The BEE came supposedly to help them, but the reality is, like the DA say, not many black people in South Africa profit from the BEE except the elite. Now, what happened was there was sections, division among black people. Well, this is not new. This is what happened. It's textbook in most African countries. Black people separated each other, separated themselves. They started creating small political parties. Now, the ANC, which was major, it was the winner of the election and also the winner of parliament seats every single year since 1994. That time in 2024, the ANC did not win the majority seat at parliament for the very first time. It was a shock to everybody. Now, the ANC winning 40% needed a partner so they can be majority. Now, the ANC went to different political parties. These are the black political parties now in South Africa. We have the EFF of Julius Malema. We have the MK led by Jacob Zuma, ex-president of South Africa. We have IFP and many other political parties. The ANC went to speak to some of the black political parties. While the black political parties, especially the MK at this instance, refused to work with the ANC. The MK led by Jacob Zuma said they would work with ANC in one condition: Cyril Ramaphosa must not be president anymore. Why? Because Jacob Zuma, you remember this president? He has issues with Cyril Ramaphosa. They don't get along anymore. It felt like when he went through prosecution and many other things, it was a little bit influenced by Ramaphosa. Now, as you can see, it's clearly falling apart. It's very sad to say in most black community, things just fall apart when it comes to power. I mean, you were given an opportunity to fix the community, but the opportunity was abused at the end. The ANC, unable to work with any political party, was forced to work with one party. Which one? The DA. The DA, perceived as predominantly white political party, is now working with the ANC so they can keep majority in government. Even though they're working together in what they call the government of unity, the DA is opposed to many of the policies of the ANC. The DA says this policy that you have, called the BEE, has been counterproductive. We don't want it no more. So we need a policy that will allow everybody to have access to the goods of the country. Now, do you think this is fair or not? Do you think the DA has the right, or white people of South Africa can now benefit from things? It's over. I mean, black people have been given 30 years to catch up. They're not doing anything good. The white people can now profit. Now, what does the DA propose? The DA propose to replace a race-based policy like BEE and introduce a poverty-focused model that helps any South African in need, regardless of race. So don't favor black people anymore because you're not favoring black people anyway. You are favoring your own pockets. Let's make it more available to everybody regardless of the race. Number two, the DA want to reward business and individuals based on their real development outcome, such as job creation, skills training, and community upliftment. Well, the ANC has been accused of favoring people just because they know each other. It's a cousin, it's a brother, it's a nephew of somebody that's passed away. Let's give them an opportunity, not necessarily because they're competent and capable. Now, the DA wants to change that. The DA also accused the ANC of lack of transparency and getting kickbacks. So in other words, if I work for tenders and I have opportunities to create things, I have money for hospitals and road and stuff like whatever, toilet paper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, dude, I can give you the tender, but I want you to send me 30% of the tender. You know what I'm saying? So that's the situation where he is. And I think it was very important that the entire Africa understand what's happening. I mean, I know there's a lot of South Africans here, and sometimes they don't talk about my country. Talk about your country. But no, we're going to talk about it. South Africa is our country, all of us, all of Africa. All of Africans are South Africans, my friend. Even you are Zambian. Even if you don't want it, you are Zambian. We're going to force you to be Zambian because all of us are South African and we need to know what's happening. The goal is to create a continent where we live in harmony. And harmony cannot just come from one side because we are interlinked, whether you like it or not, my friend. So that's the goal. South Africa is going through the most right now against Donald Trump. That's putting a lot of pressure. The South African government was accused of genociding white people, which is absolutely lies. But they're finding every tool in the book to make the pressure. Now, why are you giving them opportunities to make the pressure?
Happening in South Africa, the leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
The DA, which is a white political party, or predominantly at least, is accusing the ANC of misusing the funds. Initially you said you were trying to help black people, but you're not helping black people. You're not building houses for them. There's no hospitals, or your projects are halfway done, half-cooked. Things are not progressing. Okay, so we cannot do this anymore because we're working together as partners. Why? Because you black people can't work together, even though the whites were the oppressors. Not to say that you should hate them, not at all, but you're supposed to work together. If you are incapable of working together, something is wrong with you. Why are you fighting each other? What's happened with you? But now the DA is in great position. They have to have a discussion with the ANC if they want to work together. The DA doesn't want BEE anymore because they say BEE doesn't profit anybody. Be told, they say BEE doesn't profit anybody besides the elite. Are they right or wrong? Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.